Hi, my name is Natalia Cortez, and for my news nutrition project, my topic is about a article that I chose that is about the correlation between ADHD and artificial blue dyes. So this article reviewed different forms of literature and different studies to potentially find a link between artificial blue dye intake and ADHD, which ultimately it did. These studies were mainly targeted towards mice and children. So in mice, it was found that when mice were given high dosages of the artificial blue dye Blue 1, they were enabled to complete coordinated tasks, and specifically in female mice exhibited more hyperactive behavior rather than exploratory behavior, proving that there is a connection or a link between neural development and artificial blue dye 1. Furthermore, in children, there was also studies done, specifically a study that reviewed about 27 clinical trials. There was 52% of there was a connection between about 52% of patients in these clinical trials who had a connection between artificial dyes and ADHD. And it was also found in another study that suggested that about 8% of children with ADHD were affected by the intake of artificial dyes. And that same study presented that 33% of children with ADHD could potentially benefit from the altering of a diet. So ultimately, the results of this article presented that there is a link and a connection between ADHD and artificial dyes. There was also evidence that there is a link between blue dye 1 specifically, and that is actually the only dye that protrudes through the blood-brain barrier. So this does make sense. And even though there was a proven connection through these different literatures and through these studies, it's very apparent that there is much more research that needs to be done, especially on blue dyes, because there's much more research on general artificial dyes as a whole rather than just blue dye specifically. So much more information and research would have to be done for doctors and healthcare providers to really get insight on the true dangers of artificial dyes in general, as well as blue dyes specifically. Thank you for watching.